All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. I'm joined by the amazing Jason Dobble. How you doing, Jason?
Hi, Pete. I'm all thanks to you.
I no complaints right now. Maybe I will at the end of this call, though. I doubt it.
Yeah, yeah.
Today we're going to be talking about leads. So for all of you that we've got a lot of requests to talk a little bit more about leads. So we're going to get into that in a minute. This might be a two-parter, so just definitely subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, just to make sure you stay up to date. But today we're going to talk about leads. And one of the interesting things about leads is for the most part, we're not big believers that you should use leads in general. And the reason why we generally say don't use leads is because for a lot of people, the same people that manage leads also manage the accounts. There's not really a separation of the two different groups in your company that manage leads versus manage accounts. And so what ends up happening with CRM is there's actually two different places to go to manage your day, which is against our entire principle of less is more. But we also understand that some people just want to use leads. So you might be buying lead lists and really cold lists of names that you might want to pursue. And so there is a lot of reasons to use leads. We have other videos on our channel that talk about why to use leads, why not to use leads. But so for today, we're just going to assume you do want to use leads. Does that sound fair, Jason?
That sounds fair. Yeah, we've seen a lot of customers that do trade shows wanting to use leads more often. So, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So Dynamics has some amazing capabilities to manage leads. And so Jason's going to give us a tour of the different ways to do this. But one thing right away that you're going to notice is on the left-hand bar there, there's accounts and contacts, and then there's leads. And so leads generally, just a quick definition, leads are those companies or those people that you're not quite sure are going to be customers. And so you might be doing some qualification of them. It might be early stage qualification to make sure they're the right fit, the right size, the right industry for your products or services. They might be a little bit further along where they've actually engaged with you at a trade show or downloaded a white paper or something like that. But in general, they have not shown enough buying intent to be considered a true prospect, or definitely not an account because they haven't bought anything yet. And so
Yeah.
different companies will have different thresholds for when someone goes from lead to prospect. But the terminology in Microsoft is that a lead is someone a little bit colder, a little bit earlier stage in the sales cycle.
I
So
always say to a customer, a lead represents an unverified interest. So basically something that's an inquiry from a website or like you mentioned, a trade calls.
that's
Sorry,
a
a trade show. Yeah.
that's a very nice, succinct way of putting it. An
Yeah.
unverified interest. That's pretty accurate too. And I know
And
for those of you out there who have not seen them yet, you can go look at our marketing videos, our Dynamics marketing. It's called Customer Insights. You can actually do lead scoring in there. We're not going to be discussing that today, I don't think. We're really going to be talking about lead management. Is that right, Jason? Or did you plan on talking
yeah,
a little bit about the lead scoring?
yeah, good question. So I think it's difficult to take out the lead scoring with going through the lead management. So I'm going to be touching on that as well. A little
Perfect.
bit. Yeah.
Love it. So why don't you give us a tour? What are we looking at here? Because this looks, there's a lot going on here. So can you just like lay it out?
Yeah, sure thing. So on the left, you can see over here, this is the sitemap as explained on all the videos. And what you want to do is you want to go to the lead section. So if you're using Sales Up, it should be underneath the sales. And then you go into lead. You can see the view that it's showing. It's kind of a new view that it's showing on the left-hand side, the work or the leads that you're busy with. So you can see you have the view over here. You can expand that and then it will show you the different that you have access to in your environment. And then as you click through it, beneath that will show the leads. So like the actual leads and where they are, it shows a little bit more information. If you click on it, it's going to show the lead on the right hand side. So you can see this is the form. So this is going to be your default form. And then you'll have your business process flow at the top as well that you can step through. So this is the new look and feel, if I could put it like that. So,
It looks really good. Just taking a step back though, the views. So where it says my open leads, I think it's important for those of you who don't know how Dynamics structures data. So this list here is pretty comprehensive. But you can what you can do is you can slice and dice your data and present what Microsoft calls views. So you can have many different views to pay, based on what you want to see. So you could see my views, Jason could see his views. We could also see like the West Coast views or the small business views. I'm sorry, small business leads. You could also see maybe trade show leads or leads that were referred by our partner network, things like that. So you can slice and dice your data however you want to organize your day and work with the data that you want to work with. And Jason's got quite a few different views here, just as
Yeah, I do
samples.
have quite a few views over here. One that I quite like is, and it comes back to having leads converted to opportunities, right? Best practices around that. And one of the views that I quite like is the might open leads without sequences. Now, I know we've done a video about sequences in the past, so it might be good to go and look at the video as well. But a sequence is basically a list of steps that you as the salesperson can execute that's set up, I want to say by management or sales managers to then best interact with that lead, right? So interact with that person, and then that will get you to qualify the lead and make it an opportunity. So this is one of the views that I quite like because it's going to show you the leads that's not in a, I want to say, a nurturing sequence. When a lead comes in, you want to put it in a nurturing sequence, right? So you want to follow up with that lead as soon as possible, get some information back to them, do a phone call to, like I said, that's one of the views that I really find helpful.
And definitely to Jason's point there, you can use dynamics without using sequences, but sequences are just a way to control and to streamline and to make sure that all the steps in a certain process are hit and you can actually automate a lot of those. So wherever you can, you should lean on sequences. And like Jason said, you should go watch that video on sequences. They're really powerful, and those alone can help pay for your dynamics investment. That's my opinion anyway. Sequences are just so powerful.
Completely agree with you, Pete. Yeah, no, it's amazing what we've done with sequences with some of our customers as well, but I'll leave that for another day.
Perfect. Okay, so we're on our lead list here, my open leads. So these are all the leads assigned to the current logged in user. So the left is just a list of those leads, and you can click one by one, and it will pull up the details on the right-hand side. Do you want to lay out a little bit about what's going on here on the right-hand side?
Yeah, I can do that. So, of course, in Dynamics, you get multiple forms. The forms that I chose today, or the form that I chose today, is Sales Insights, just because it has a little bit more to it. You can see over here we have the contact section, the company section, where all the company information will come in. And then on the right-hand side, as mentioned before, this will show you the sequence that the lead's in. Now, this is one with a sequence. You can see over here, it's a new lead nurturing sequence that this lead is in. If I jump to Valerie Farley here, over here, you'll see she's not in a sequence yet. So it's going to look a little bit different. You can see there's no up next activities. You can then create activities from here as well, or you could link this lead to a sequence as well. So jumping back into this Jason Dorfer lead, just want to show you what this looks like. So over here you can see it send a reminder email, and then it's going to wait for 5 days, and then that's going to take you through the lead nurturing, so getting the lead to convert to a opportunity. Now, I'm not going to go into that too much. Going down is the timeline. So this is all the interactions, back and forth, phone calls,
Can
emails,
I
tasks, whatever you want to do, linked to the lead.
can I ask if you go back up to the sequence part, are those things
Yes.
below the current task or step, are those things that have been done or are those things that are waiting to be done in the sequence?
So these are items that's waiting to be done in the sequence. As soon as I mark this as complete, I can quickly show you what it's going to look like. It's going to show you at the bottom. Now I might have to refresh, so just bear with me. Oh, come on. No,
Or it's
it's not.
refusing to listen to you?
Yeah, let me just do that. Oh, I hate typing and text, but let's
Yeah.
see. Okay, so there we go. So you can see over here, the next sequence step is going to be call customer. But now if I go to previous steps, it's going to show it down below. So you can see the first step was done, introduction mail, and then the reminder email is next. So that's how it's going to show up. So these ones were completed.
This is a great way as you're managing your daily workload to just catch up to speed real fast on where you are in a process and then also what things have already been done. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it also works for team-based approaches to things. So like if you did a step and then it goes onto my plate for me to do the next step, I'd be able to see all the steps that you and other coworkers have done before my step kicks in. So if I had a question, I could go back to whoever did that step. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes. Yeah. You
And
can go
does
look at the steps for.
it also store those things that get done in the timeline, or does the administrator or configurator of the system choose what things show up in the timeline?
Great question. Yeah, so any activity will show in the timeline. So whether it's an email that's going out or email coming in or any task or phone call like that, that will show up in the timeline. This step shows a little bit differently. That's why it's showing separately in the up next. So, yeah.
That makes sense. So this is some basic information, and Jason kind of covered this already, but just to be clear, one of the greatest things about Dynamics is its flexibility. So right now he's using this form called the Sales Insights form, but you can actually tweak and modify this to suit your business needs. So for a lot of people, they will, because it's so easy to do this, they will change these forms around and put the important information that you and your team need on this form. And you can change the tabs as well, and you can change the business processes too. And we're going to get to business processes in a minute. But I think it's important to note because what you're seeing here, you might say, well, this doesn't really match how we manage our leads. Well, that's okay because Microsoft doesn't assume this out of the box screen is the screen that you're going to use. You would modify these fields and put that key information about your leads on this form. Whether you get that data through a spreadsheet or through a lead broker system or from a trade show or wherever you get your leads from.
I do want to show you something quickly, which
Sure.
is a new feature. I do need to switch, unfortunately, to this read-only grid. So if you just bear with me, I want to show you something that's called the Smart Paste. Now, this is really great. So this is entering a new lead, like you said, Pete. It could be time consuming depending on the fields, right? But if you have a form, let's say, for example, a website inquiry, and it's not connected to Dynamics yet, so you don't have the web to lead into, and I know you want to speak a little bit more about the web to lead as well. If you don't have that configured or fully automated, a lot of people still have where the web to lead goes to a mailbox, right? And then
Mhm.
people enter the leads in manually. Now, this is what I want to show you is I want to quickly open up a email. So I'm just using my signature and I'm doing a copy from my email signature. And then I just click anywhere in the screen and I control V. It's going to smart paste it. So it's going to pick it up. And then you can see they smart paste analyzing the clipboard and boom. Look at that. Copilot just from my signature, put in a topic, first name, last name, job title, business phone number. So if you imagine getting a lead from your website and it still goes to a mailbox and people need to manually enter all of that, it takes a while, right? But with the new Copilot feature that's linked to leads as well, you could just Control C, Control V into the form and it knows to accept that. And the nice thing is you can accept the suggestions or you can correct it. So you can see over there. I do apologize for all the clicks, but
No, nothing to
boom,
apologize for.
there's
You just saved a whole bunch of time. And just to reiterate it in my own words, for those of you who didn't quite follow what was happening there. So Jason had pulled up an email that we couldn't see. It was on a different screen, but he copied the signature line, and all he did was he highlighted the signature line, Control C to copy it, and then he went into that screen and did Control V. And that simple action saved
yeah.
him from rekeying the information about that lead. So it's a huge time saver. So if you don't have automated integrations or you're not pulling your data through spreadsheets, which are both options, you can just do the copy from the SIG line. I'm kind of curious, Jason, can you also do that in the Outlook plugin? Like, could I pull up the new lead form?
Yes.
But I guess it
Yeah.
doesn't, you
Do
don't
the
really need to because it already is smart and it already tries to fill in the fields.
Oh, you mean the Control C, Control V? No,
Yeah,
unfortunately, it doesn't work in the Outlook plugin, but yes, you could use the Outlook plugin functionality
yeah.
in there to type everything in. Yeah.
That was a dumb question because the Outlook plugin is already gonna gonna do that. All right, that's cool. But still, this is
Yeah.
amazing. Microsoft knows data entry is the death of these types of tools like CRM. So what they're trying to do is make as many ways as possible to make it easy to get your data in without someone having to rekey things, take their time, frustrate the users, and possibly create data transposition errors. So by doing this Control C, Control V, it's just a nice, fast way of getting the data in.
Yeah.
So,
Now,
Jason, I'm
sorry, go ahead,
curious,
Pete.
why do you keep refreshing the screen?
Oh, I wanted to check something. So I actually created a Power Automate in the back a while ago. It's going to be for my presentation at DynamicsCon. For you, those of you that don't know, I'm going to be talking at DynamicsCon, so I'm very excited about that. But I have a flow in the back that basically checks if a lead comes in, and it does a predictive scoring based on the industry, the employee. So if the employee's job title, is it like consultant? Is it a sales manager? What is it? And then also the size of the company, right? So the predictive lead scoring Power Automate that I did with AI Builder, and I'm not going to go into too much now, but I just want to tell you about the possibilities. It then, and I hope you can see my screen, but basically what it does is it puts it into a sequence, again, a lead nurturing sequence, again, depending on the size of the company, how much effort is needed. And then it also gives you a predictive analysis of this lead. So you can see over there, there's a new warm lead alert. So I put it into, for example, if you use Teams all day and you have a sales team, you could notify them, listen, there's a new lead. It's a warm lead that is alerted. You can see the industry, company size, and all of that. So you can see over here the nice message that it's sending to the sales team.
But
Sorry
just
if
to
I'm,
just to
yeah,
reiterate that, what happened there was you wrote a Power Automate behind the scenes. So when the lead was added into the system, it checked certain pieces of data to determine if it was a good fit or not. And then
that's correct. Yes,
it sounds like it ranks either by warm, cold, hot, and then it puts it into a Microsoft Teams channel so your sales team can actually see, hey, there's a new lead going.
exactly. Yeah, and that's what makes it so powerful. Again, with Dynamics is you can use the out of the box functionality, but it's super easy to just enhance that functionality for your business needs, right? And get something implemented that works for your business. So
And I think if you could do that, like a more, in my opinion, probably something our customers would probably, or prospects looking at Dynamics would probably use more is send that lead to a specific person. So I assume you could change the rules to say something like if it's in Arizona, it goes to Peter. If it's in New York, it goes to Jason.
yeah, most definitely. So you could do routing of leads as well. Yeah, you could do round robin. You could do skill-based routing. So based on, let's say, for example, it picks up something on the topic or the industry. It goes to a certain technical advisor or whatever you want to do. You could do it however you want. So yeah,
That's really cool. So I'm just kind of thinking ahead, like how data gets in here. So for a lot of companies, they will either buy lead lists through Info USA, D&B, whoever, and then they'll just import lead lists, which is really simple. Then you can also go to trade shows and just get, it's basically the same idea. You get a file that you would then import, or you would scan business cards one by one and pull them into the leads. The other way that you could do it is have forms on your website. And so in theory, you can have a form that says, click here for more information about a certain product. And if Jason is the expert about that certain product, that lead doesn't need to go to a generic bucket. It can go right to Jason's lead pipeline. So Jason would see that in the morning. Maybe you notify Jason, but honestly, if you're doing CRM right, you don't need to notify anybody that because Jason would go to his leads dashboard every day and see if any new leads came in. How easy
exactly.
is it? So I got a question recently, Jason. How easy is it to integrate web forms with this lead process?
It's pretty straightforward. I would say if I use Microsoft Forms, it's really easy to get that going. Right. Microsoft Forms is pretty basic. So I would say it's fairly easy to get that going. When you get to WordPress or I don't remember what other like website development stuff there is. But when it gets to that, you probably need a plugin. So what we need to do is we need a webhook to be triggered, right? So we create a Power Automate on our side. It then catches the data. So when somebody submits on the form, it basically catches the data and then it sends it through to the webhook or the HTTP. And then the Power Automate retrieves it in a JSON format. And then we map it out to the fields and then that creates the lead. So
You know how
I
easy
know
you
that
make
might
that
have gotten
sound?
a little bit. Yeah, I know. It does sound a little bit technical, but it's pretty. I think we could do a video about that as well. It's pretty straightforward to do. I think a video doing it with Microsoft Forms would be the best, as it is pretty easy to get it done with Microsoft Forms as well. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we should do that as a follow-up. And if any of you are watching this and have ideas or questions about certain topics, go ahead and put them in the comments, and we'll just add it to our list of videos. We're trying to make videos that are useful for you all. So the more you tell us about what you want to see, the easier it is for us to make content for you. But for now, Jason, it sounds like the bottom line is it's relatively easy. I'm not sure how many
Yeah.
companies are using uh, Microsoft Forms for that, but definitely it is an easy solution because anybody with Office, I think, has a copy of Microsoft Forms, right?
Yes, they do. Yeah. So
Yeah.
with your Office, you get Microsoft Forms for free, and I believe it's actually free overall as well. So
Nice.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
So
Just for my own sake, can you hit the three little lines over there on the far left on the sitemap? So just give us more breathing room on the main screen, or will that mess up the format? So
over
shrink,
here.
yeah, shrink down that. There we
Yeah.
go. And I'm not sure how many of
Yeah.
the people watching this know about that little feature, but you can shrink your sitemap so that you have more space for the content.
Yeah. So it's good that I shrunk it now a little bit because otherwise I had to jump back into the big form because what I wanted to get at is the lead scoring. Now, I don't have any lead scoring on this one. I don't think any of my leads have any scoring because I don't have all of the activities or interactions with the lead as well. But I at least want to show you. So this is a lead score. It will, based on your interaction with the lead, it will determine a score if it's good, if it's going up or going down. You can see over here at the bottom, you have your relationship health. So this gets into more the predictive scoring. You can see over there, there's no interaction. So this lead might not close, right? Because it might not convert to an opportunity. Sorry, let me rephrase because there's no interaction with this lead. So it's just the salesperson's not reaching out. Nobody knows about this lead. So, and that's where it's troublesome, right? So it's, if you get a lead in the system and it's not actioned, it's a big problem. Again, it gets back to the views and the dashboards, like you discussed, Pete, to show the salespeople what they need to do on a day-to-day basis. And that also gets me back to the sequences because that's going to show them what's next on their to-do list, right? What do they need to do next? So
Yeah,
we
you and
need to
I are,
make it as easy as possible.
well, yeah, and you and I think a lot alike because I was thinking the same thing as you were talking about that relationship health. Is there a way, because we just talked about how to get leads into the system easily, is there a way to automatically put it into a sequence based on different demographic data? Like, could I
Oh,
automatically put
yes.
this into my corporate account lead sequence or my small business lead sequence? Is that possible?
Yeah, so that would be again with the Power Automate extension to based on a certain, I want to say, criteria. It then puts the lead in a certain sequence as well. So that's something that I've been building out now based on the industry. It puts it in different sequences as well. So out of the box, it doesn't happen automatically, but yes, it can be done automatically with Power Automate fairly easy.
I mean, to me, that's like the power of dynamics. So for the longest time with CRM, the main selling point was having all my information in one place. I think today, what most modern buyers and most modern sellers and service people want is ease. They want things just kind of like be moved along for them so that they can focus on the human activities and let the system do the follow-ups and the administration and the reminders. So if I got a lead from a trade show, the ideal situation is it automatically puts it into some sort of sequence, trade show follow-up sequence, because then like the system could automatically send that first email engagement point out. So as a seller, I don't have to worry about that. And then the system would tell me if that sequence got to a certain point in the automation where the person has the prospect, the lead has engaged enough times or enough, there's enough interest been shown that it then requires me to intervene and maybe do personal outreaches. Like that is ideal. That pays for dynamics right then and there.
I completely agree with you, Pete. Yeah, no, it does. And it's so powerful with this predictive scoring that you're getting as part of Dynamics. And the nice thing is you get it on, I believe you get it on Sales Pro. I'll have to confirm. And you get it on Sales Enterprise. Obviously, we want more customers on Sales Enterprise, although the fee is a little bit higher, but you get a lot more out of your system with the Sales Enterprise licensing, especially on leads and opportunities.
Yeah, for any of you watching, there's two main types of licenses for Dynamics, as Jason just said, sales professional and sales enterprise. We have stopped recommending professional because you save a little bit of money, but you also severely limit your options to automate and get an ROI. I don't even think sequences are available in sales professional, Jason.
I don't think sequences are, no.
Yeah, and to me, sequences alone for 40, I think it's $40 differential between the sales professional and sales enterprise. The sequences alone, if you're paying a sales rep anywhere from 20 to 60 bucks an hour, like that's a pretty low average for most sellers. This for $40 a month, you're going to save at least an hour's worth of time for that sales rep. You're going to make them enable them to move faster, have better consistent responses, and to juggle a lot more leads and sales in a month with a sequence if you're setting them up right.
Yeah, most definitely.
I have a big question here, just a personal curiosity. Who knows whom? First of all, that's impeccable grammar by Microsoft. But what would that do for me? Would that actually say somehow Jason Dowell knows someone else that I already know in my system? Like, what is that doing?
Yeah, so it just shows you based on the connection, how can I say it, like a domain connection, it will show you who knows who in the system as well. If it picks up that it might be I want to say a child company of a parent company, then it will show you that as well. Or if the contacts are connected to each other.
I know AI is like amazing, but how the heck does that work? Because the lead record it isn't really tied to an official account, right? So it's just put in the company is just a field with a text caption. So how can it be
Correct.
associated with an existing account?
Yeah. I'll have to find out, Pete. I've not used the Who Knows Whom, but I've seen it. It's added in the recent functionality. It's added. But just
It,
on another note, you can see with this
oh yeah,
Gerald, you can see the lead scoring showing up. That's right. I was trying to find the Who Knows Whom now, but
it's
yeah,
fine. I stumped Jason. That's really hard to do. So I think
you
maybe
did.
uh, I don't know if that's a victory for me or not, but like I'm shocked. But also, it's a new feature too. That's why it's fascinating because as a seller, it's always nice to know like I know someone who already knows this person. So if I'm really going after, accounts aggressively, I could go call my friend who knows that person and just get the inside scoop or maybe a personal introduction, which will help close business faster.
Most definitely.
Let me ask you, how much more do you want to cover with leads? Because I'm wondering if it's a good time to break and we can pick it up for a second session.
Yeah, I think this is a good place to stop.
Good. Let's do this then. Let's wish everyone well. And I appreciate those of you who stuck around learning about leads with me as Jason calmly explains all these things that we can do. And I'll say goodbye for now, and we'll see you next week, maybe 2 weeks from now. How's that sound, Jason?
That sounds perfect. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, y'all.